Good morning, saints. Good afternoon, saints. Good evening, saints. Wherever you are, I welcome you again to today's study. We have the title of Mercy Forfeited. We are still in quarter 1, lesson 2. And today is Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. I welcome you once again to our study. So, God's love is everlasting and always unmerited. However, humans can reject it. We have the opportunity to accept or reject that love, but only because God freely loves us with this perfect everlasting love prior to anything we do. We can find that in Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 3. Our love for God is a response to what has already been given us even before we asked for it. You can also check Romans chapter 5 verse 8. Let's read 1 John chapter 4, 7 to 20. I will read for us verse 7 and 19. Then you'll read the rest later. 7 says, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God. 19 says, we love him because he first loved us. Okay? So from this reading, after you've read 1 John chapter 4, verse 7 to 20, what does this tell us about the priority of God's love? Please give your comments in the comment section below. God's love always comes first. If God did not first love us, we could not love him in return. While God created us with the capacity to love and to be loved, God himself is the ground and the source of all love. We have the choice, however, whether we will accept it and then reflect it in our lives. This truth is exemplified in Christ's parable of the unforgiving servant. You can check Matthew chapter 18, verse 23 to 35. So in the parable, we can see that there was no way the servant could ever have repaid what he owed the master. According to Matthew chapter 18, the servant owed his master 10,000 talents. 1 talent amounted to about 6,000 denarii, and 1 denarius was what an average laborer would be paid for 1 day of work. We can check Matthew chapter 20, verse 2. I will read that in your hearing. Matthew 20, verse 2. It says, and when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. Okay? So, it would take an average laborer 6,000 days of labor to earn 1 talent. Suppose after accounting for days off, then an average laborer might work for 300 days per year, and thus earn 300 denarii in a year. So, it will take an average laborer approximately 20 years to repay 1 talent, which consisted of 6,000 denarii. That is 6,000 over 300, which is 20. In order to earn 10,000 talents, then an average laborer would have to work 200,000 years. In short, the servant could never repay this debt. Yet the master felt compassion for his servant and freely forgave his huge debt. However, when this forgiven servant refused to forgive the far, far smaller debt of 100 denarii of one of his fellow servants and had him thrown in prison over the debt, the master was moved with anger and rescinded his merciful forgiveness. The servant forfeited the love and the forgiveness of his master. Although God's compassion and mercy never run out, one can finally reject, even forfeit, the benefits of God's compassion and mercy. As we close, think about what you have been forgiven and what it costs you to be forgiven by Jesus. What should this tell you about forgiving others? I ask that you may ponder about this, reflect upon this, and if you have a response, please give in the comment section, even as we prepare for the Sabbath. Thank you. See you tomorrow.